Welcome to Davie County's Voice, a podcast produced by the Davie Community Foundation, where we sit down with leaders, neighbors, and community members who are shaping the future of Davie County and working every day to make our community stronger. Welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
My name is Jessie Folger. I am originally from Wilkes County, North Carolina.
Okay.
After school, moved down to NC State, graduated with a zoology degree, and wound up working in construction.
Well, they both are outside, so there's a correlation.
Yeah,
there's a correlation.
absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's just go ahead and jump in. When people hear about Habitat for Humanity, they often think just houses. But does the work really look like that here in Davie County? Can you tell us what Habitat does here?
Absolutely. So it is a lot of that. We are building and repairing homes here in Davie County, but the way that we do it is really unique in the way that we bring people together to build our homes, and therefore building the community and then building hope for our partner families at the end, because they're getting to be first-time home buyers. And so I think that's my favorite thing about what we do is just the people that it brings together from all different walks of life, from our volunteers that come in the restore and help us to process our furniture and small wares and any donations we get in there, to the volunteers on the job site that help us to physically build our homes. Of course, there's our partner families, right? They have to do 250 hours of sweat equity. So a lot of times if you volunteer, you're out there working alongside the folks that you're helping, which is a really exciting, unique thing to do as well. And then at the end of the day, you have a tangible product. You're going to have a house that's going to stay standing forever, or you're going to have put a ramp on a home for a family, or have helped to redo a roof. We do bathroom modifications through our like ADA accessible bathrooms through our critical repairs program as well. And so really it is just bringing people together to build and repair homes in the community, but also with the restore, it's a place the community can kind of gather when we have our blood drives or we host the Humane Society for their adoption fairs. We really try and be an integral part.
Wow. It's something I didn't know when I first got here. You mentioned the home repair. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that was something y'all did. Can you talk a little about that?
Absolutely. So we have found, obviously, there's a huge need for affordable housing. But one way that we can help serve our community is not only building new homes, but keeping folks in their existing homes and keeping them safe in those homes. And so a lot of what we have seen when we first started was you go into a home and a homeowner has called us because they had stepped through the floor. It had just rotted out over time because they didn't have a sealed crawl space. Yeah. Or they have a huge hole in their ceiling because the roof has been leaking for possibly years. They never had enough money to fix it. Or they got into a medical situation where now they're wheelchair bound, but they have no ADA accessible features in their home or no ramp to even get inside their home. So we're here for those folks. And we have expanded that program over the years. The first time we started it, when I first started here, was coming up on 4 years ago, and it was through a grant through the Davie Community Foundation. And we had a goal. We did 5 homes that year, and now we're approaching 20 this year.
Wow.
So it's really...
And we're only halfway through the year.
Yeah. So the need is there, and we're excited to fulfill it. And then the families that we meet and the stories that we've heard from them, no one else is coming to help a lot of times. And so we're really happy to be here and do that work.
That's a great service to our community. Like you said, keeping them in their homes instead of letting it deteriorate and then they're homeless and then you start the whole process.
Absolutely.
Again. So, can you walk me through the journey, what a family goes through from applying to ultimately receiving their keys to their own home? Yeah.
So our partner family comes to us. A lot of times Habitat has a pretty well-known name. So if someone's in need of housing and an affordable way to purchase a home, they kind of already know about us. If they live or work in Davie County, they would call us up or send me an email. And so I send them out an application, right? That's the first steps there. We go over all of their income requirements, all their information basically. Once they get accepted and approved into our program, it can be a good year to 2 years before they're going to get their home. Wow. This is a long-term process with us. They have to complete 250 hours of sweat equity. That's a lot of time. And when you have a full-time job, a full-time family, it's a lot of time committed to helping build your neighbor's home, work in the restore, and then ultimately build your own home. And so it's a quite long process. And then at the end of it, they also take financial literacy classes throughout the way. We get them with a HUD certified counselor, so they get to make sure that they're going to be set up for success when they get into be living in their home. And we also require them to take homeowner maintenance classes, so we can teach them a lot about what first-time home buyers might not know, things that I didn't know when I bought my house, possibly, you know? And so we
changing
really,
the filters,
yeah,
you know, all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. So we really try and set them up for success in a wholesome way. And then at the end, they're going to put down about $2,000 to help with closing costs, and then they'll pay an affordable mortgage throughout the 30-year length of their mortgage.
Wow. So they're invested from day one,
Absolutely,
all the way through.
Yep.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Can you share maybe a story that really captures the essence of what Habitat does?
Absolutely. You know, when I say we bring people together, this story definitely is the epitome of that. But then also it kind of is a full circle moment of how the family is also given back to us in a lot of ways. And so when I first started with Habitat, I've been with Habitat for 13 years. I used to work down in Raleigh, but with Habitat, Davie started back in 2022, and I got to meet the Gwynn family, the first family that I got to serve here. And Miss Jessica, she was coming out of a not-so-great situation that left her a single mother with 3 boys to support.
Wow.
And so she and I, she had a semi-flexible schedule with work, which was really nice because she would come and help me because at the time I was the sole person out in the field building the home. And so I would get some volunteers here and there. Lots of groups came out, but then she and I would be out there a lot of times by ourselves working and getting to know each other very, very much so that way. And she's just the sweetest person you ever meet. The things that she has done to support her kids, picking up another job along the way, those sorts of things. She was just so committed and involved in the entire process. And then physically, she didn't have really, because a lot of times our families can bring out family and friends to help build the home. She brought out quite a few friends, but didn't have a whole lot of other support. So she really did those 250 hours of sweat equity just about all on her own. So anyway, she made it through our process. She was able to close on her home and feel, just that huge sense of pride that she did this for her family, for her children to have that generational wealth for their future. And now her firstborn, he's just turned 18. He's been working for us for 2 years.
Wow.
So he's putting in the work to help build other people's homes. And then also he got an interest in construction. So this could be a starting point career for him. So he's kind of with us in a paid internship kind of role. Mm-hmm. That's been really wonderful. Before then, he was even helping on our trucks, going out and picking up the furniture donations when folks donate to the Restore. And so for him to be able to give back in that way and help to build homeowners' houses just like the community helped to build his home has just been really neat.
Full circle.
And she comes and speaks at a lot of our events. She's very open and honest about her story, and that's a huge thing when you serve a family, but then they give back to you in that way. To be so vulnerable and willing to share their story, it really helps. It grabs the attention and grabs the heartstrings of others to also come and join in our own mission and be interested in what we do.
This kind of plays into the next question is, how does that homeownership have that ripple effect?
Yeah, so, when your community invests in you, you feel the need to invest back in your community.
Agreed.
And so when you can call yourself a homeowner and have a piece of land and have a property that's yours, you want to take care of it. I mean, you did 250 hours to help build it. You're paying for it. And you understand that the community came alongside you with the different groups that volunteered on the home. So you got to meet a lot of your community just through the process of your home being built.
Yeah.
And then once you have stable housing and a mortgage that's you can afford to pay for, you have a little extra money to put your kid in that soccer league or go to the coffee shop and spend some time at the local businesses around town. So it really is, once again, that full circle moment of, I think that our homeowners feel the investment and they feel the need to invest back.
Wow. All right. I heard the word volunteer a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So what role do volunteers and local partners play in making these homes possible?
A big one, the biggest of ones. Our volunteers are really at the heart of what we do. They're my favorite part of what we do, one of my favorite parts. and we honestly would not exist without them. You can only have so many paid staff members working at a nonprofit, right?
That's correct.
And you only want to have so many because the point of a nonprofit is once again to grab those heartstrings, to get people invested in your mission. And when you have so many like-minded people coming together that believe in the need for affordable housing in an area, they have a lot of commonalities, right? And so then they enjoy getting together. And so we have a team of ladies, Dana and Ann and Judy and Erica, that work in the back of our restore 2 times a week. And every Tuesday, Thursday, they're back there from 1 to 4, chumming it up, having a great time, and processing our smallware that comes in, cleaning the dishes, helping to price things, while our staff can be on the storefront, doing the sales, that sort of stuff. And so but they have a great group of these ladies who really just enjoy working together. And then also it's been really neat to see them create a community. Like, they threw me a baby shower. Like, that's not at every job, you know? And then we are very intentional about celebrating our staff's birthdays or our volunteers' birthdays. And so it's a really neat environment to be a part of. And I think that because we have invested in our internal team and the way that we treat each other and the way that we, once again, celebrate those milestones in each other's lives, it helps us to really put focus on the people that we serve as well. And same thing with construction. We have a lot of regulars on our construction team that work out there with my construction manager, Brian, and they just love coming out every Thursday, Friday just to help. And then they help us to lead the groups. They call them like one-off volunteer groups. Davie Construction, for instance, might come out and bring 15 people on a day. Well, we need some leadership for that day. So it's not just solely on Brian to lead these 15 people. We can have a couple house leaders, we call them. And they can say, okay, Brian can say, okay, you take these 5 volunteers and you go teach them siding. You take these 5 and you go work on framing punch. And helps to delegate, helps to keep the day nice and safe for everybody and enjoyable, because when you volunteer somewhere, you want to feel that if you didn't come for that day, that task would not have gotten done without you. Yeah. And that's kind of how we try and run it.
And it allows that project to move a lot faster too.
Yeah, it creates ownership too. Yeah, absolutely.
So, what does the word home mean to families you serve beyond just having a place to live?
Yeah, it means security. That this home is theirs, especially for the children, to have a place that they can come back to every single night. They know where their head's going to rest. They know that they have their room with their bathroom, with their toys, their clothes in their closet. So that sense of security, I think, goes a long way with families. It's also a sense of pride in being able to call yourself a homeowner. That's a big milestone in life. It's the biggest purchase you'll ever make in your life is purchasing a home. And it's the biggest investment you'll be able to make it with your family, make into your family and help build that generational wealth. So for a lot of people, it means everything. It really does.
As a parent, I think of also, making sure my kids are safe, that that, like you said, that's yours, that's your safe, that's the one place, no matter what else is going on around the world, you can come back into those walls, and that's your safe space.
Absolutely.
So, how does stable housing change things like education, employment, and like the well-being of a family?
Yeah, so it definitely allows for folks to be able to, once again, have that sense of security here so that when they go out to their jobs, they are well rested. They've had that quiet place to settle down to in the evenings and wake up refreshed in the morning to go and be the best they can be in their own careers. There's lots of studies that have been done about habitat families, and once homeownership comes into a family, the children are much more likely to graduate from high school and then go on to college. The money you're saving by not renting, a lot of times almost every time we're putting folks back into a situation where they're going to be paying less for their mortgage than they do for rent.
Yep.
Because we're going to guarantee they're not going to pay more than 30% of their income towards their housing, and their debt to income ratio is no more than 43%. So when you put someone in that situation, we're guaranteeing that they're going to have some extra funds to be able to pay for their kids' college, pay for those opportunities that make someone well-rounded, whether it's sports, whether it's club activities. I know that when going back to our first homeowner, Jess got into her home, we started getting invites to her son's plays because he was able to go over to Lexington, the Davidson's School of the Arts, maybe, or something other. But he got to be in some plays there, which was awesome. But those are opportunities that possibly wouldn't have come about if they didn't have some extra money that they were saving by having a mortgage to be able to do.
All right. What are some of the misconceptions that people in general have about Habitat?
Yeah, and honestly, I had it when I first started. I remember my first interview with Habitat, and I should have done more research before I went in for it. And the guy who eventually became my boss said, "Yeah, what do you know about Habitat?" And I was like, "I don't know. Do you give homes away for free to people, right?" No, not at all. So we sell our homes an affordable mortgage to families. That's a huge one. Because our families, they have to be able to afford our homes. They're gonna pay on a 30-year mortgage just like anybody else. It just, the way we break it down and have it at a very low interest rate is what makes it affordable in the long run for the family. So that's the biggest thing, is probably the way that we structure our mortgages and structure the whole math side of what we do for families is a big one. I think a lot of folks probably don't know about our critical repairs program. They think maybe we're just construction. So it's great for folks to understand that we're here to serve in that way and that we can help folks stay in their homes safely. And then, some people just know about the Restore and think that folks just donating there and selling items there stays in that little end of the world. But really, that helps to fund the building and repair of our homes in the county. And some people, vice versa, just know about construction. And so the Restores are really neat because I can honestly say that place covers all of our operational costs, from salaries to our trucks that go out and do the donation pickups, our construction vehicles, the gas, the tools that we might need to purchase along the way. It really covers all of our operational costs, so that when then we go out in the community and we try and fundraise, or we ask for corporate or church or civic donations monetarily, or from donors in general, that money is literally buying lumber for the houses. It's buying a roof for somebody. It's buying tangible products that are going to go into what we're doing.
That's pretty cool. What are some of the challenges families face before they come and see you?
On the dire end of things, it's possibly homelessness, right?
Wow.
And so that's why it's so important for us to stay connected with other nonprofits in our community, like Family Promise. They can be a stepping stone to a program like ours, where someone maybe has been through just some really probably dark places in their lives, but yet they are now able to get a job, have some stable income for a couple years, and then eventually come see us. So definitely our families have been through trials and tribulations. Lately, we've seen a lot of single mothers kind of come through our program. And so I think that comes with its own challenges of just emotional, emotional burden. And when you feel like you're the sole provider for your family, that's a lot emotionally and mentally, and in general. And then I think, a lot of our families, they can get to a place where they can afford to pay a mortgage. It's just the part of getting there, right? They maybe don't have that generational wealth built up. They don't have that parent or anyone else backing them that could say, hey, I'll help you with this down payment on this home, so then you can go and pay just the mortgage. Because they're paying more in rent right now.
Exactly.
A lot of times, they just don't have the typical upfront costs of actually closing on a home that banks typically require.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You talked about partnerships and opportunity. What are some of those key partners that help this work possible, and what do those relationships look like, within the organizations?
Yeah. So, definitely our volunteers, right? Just the people on the boots on the ground doing the work, from our board members, who are amazing people and supporters, to those regulars that come a couple times a week. But then also a lot of the companies that have been involved in our fundraisers, a lot of the companies that have also sent out volunteers. I can think back over the last builds. We've had Reeb come out. They've also donated interior and exterior doors to our home, which is a huge cost savings in itself.
I can imagine.
Yeah, that's been a really great partnership. We've had Davie Medical come out and volunteer for a day. We've had Davie Construction come out. They've also played in our golf tournaments and been a supporter there. Smith Phillips Building Supply, Caldwell Lumber, a lot of the local ones. There's been, so many wonderful companies that have helped us both monetarily and with volunteer labor. And we need to grow that more. We need even more sponsors, more investment, because like I said, the restore does cover our operational costs, and it puts a little bit towards the projects of what we do if we have a critical repair that maybe we're short on some grant funding, but we need to go ahead and finish out that ramp or whatever. But it's not going to pay for a full home. It costs us $160,000 to build a Habitat house. If we build one a year, okay, that's that. But we're looking to build 3 next year. And so triple it. And so we need that much more income coming in. We need whole house sponsors. At the previous affiliate that I was at, they were much larger, but they had really great relationships with different groups where they had maybe the Baptist Coalition, which was 10 different churches that split the burden of paying for that house to build it, but then also they sent volunteers weekly. So we need a lot more of those types of connections. And with us being in a place where we've kind of had to revitalize the affiliate over the last few years, we're working on building a lot of those partnerships still.
Again, volunteers. For someone that's never volunteered on site, what would they expect when they walked up?
Some smiling faces, hopefully.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. And a very inviting environment is what we want to provide. We want those folks that have never swung a hammer before in their lives, but they feel the need to give back to their community because we're here to teach them. Our team is well-versed in construction. I think between Brian and I, we have it's over like 30 years of experience in construction.
Wow.
So you're going to be well taken care of. You're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to learn a new skill, especially if you stay with us throughout the whole process of the build. You would learn framing, roofing, siding, hanging doors, hanging windows, things you can take back and do on your own home in the future, flooring, and anything, painting. So you're really going to have a good time. You're going to feel good about the investments you're giving back. And we're still, I like Habitat because it's still very organic and feels very grassroots. We sub out a few things on the home when it comes to like licensed trade work, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, drywall. Nobody likes drywall and insulation. We sub that out and to make it look really good. But everything else is a very volunteer-friendly task, and it's you just bite it off in chunks. And so I think that volunteers really enjoy when they volunteer with us because you feel that empowerment of like, wow, I didn't know siding was so easy to do. This was pretty cool. And also now it's going to be here forever for a family. And so I think you get a really tangible product that you can feel good about doing in your community.
And I imagine you do have volunteers that come back for multiple builds.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we have a pretty good group of regulars right now. Like I said, we have the Restore team. And then on the job site, we have probably at any given time, there's at least 3 or 4 people that come a week, but I mean a larger group of about 15 regulars that we can call on to say, hey, I got this group coming. Can you come help us lead it? That sort of thing. And then even the one-off groups that might come once a year from the different companies, a lot of those have become regulars, or at least we'll see them each year like, oh, hey, you're back, Reap's back, and so that's really, really cool to see and to build that community. And they remember like, oh, yeah, last time we worked on Casey's house or last time we worked on Angel's house. So it's pretty cool.
And you talk about people's names, so it's they understand they've met those people that they're working alongside of to help them get them in their house. So that's really cool.
Absolutely,
that's really cool. Mm-hmm. I think you kind of mentioned on this, but what's next for Habitat for Davie County, and what's the greatest opportunity in the upcoming future?
Yeah, so we want to grow. There's a huge need. My inbox stays full of requests for new people that need housing in general, people that need critical home repairs. So it's always a matter of, okay, where do we need to staff up internally possibly to help accommodate these needs, but then, or where do we need to find more volunteers to help out with this aspect of what we do? A lot of it is trying to bring in new sponsors that we can go to and say, hey, here's our goal. We're really trying to grow from 1 to 3 homes. We're trying to even grow critical repairs from 20 to 30 in maybe the next year. How do we get there, and who can be involved in that? Can you donate your time? Can you donate money? Can you donate more doors, physical things that can go to the home. Can you send out, one thing that we talk to some builders sometimes, and I need to talk more to is, you have the construction team that does your building every day. Can you share them? Can you send them over for a day? Have them put a roof on our house because you guys can do it in one day, whereas it takes us maybe 2 weeks with volunteers, which is great, but we also have to pay for scaffolding. It's a little bit more of a dangerous task. So if we can get some of those partnerships kind of subbed out, you get a day of like, hey, I did this for Habitat. It's a win-win for both, really.
Yeah.
And so we're just looking to find more partners, grow what we can do because the need is great, and I don't want to turn anybody away. We want to serve as many people as we can, but ultimately we're gonna need more partnerships, need more land, of course, all that good stuff. So,
all right, one last question. What would you say to someone who has the ability to help but hasn't done it yet?
Show up.
Show up.
Just show up. We'll take you how you are. If you have skills and you know how to swing a hammer or you want to work in the restore, we'd love to have you. If you've never done it and you want to learn, we're here to teach you. We take people where they're at with their time, talents, all that good stuff. So just call me.
Anyone can be part of your team.
Anyone. Yeah, I like to meet a volunteer where they're at and hear from them. Okay, how do you want to be involved? Do you enjoy sitting down with families and helping to teach them financial literacy? Are you a good home maintenance person already and you could take that burden off our team and teach a little homeowner maintenance class? There's so many ways to be involved. Do you like paying bills and you want to come and be my admin volunteer for once a week? So you know how it is in a nonprofit.
As a nonprofit, there's always a role for everyone.
There is, and I feel like our team is really good about meeting you where you're at as a volunteer.
That's pretty cool. Well, thank you so very much for being here today, Jessie, and for letting us all learn more about Habitat. And thank you for the lives you change.
Thank you. Yep. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for spending time with us on Davie County's Voice. We hope today's conversation inspired you and helped you learn more about the people and ideas making Davie County stronger. Be sure to check back every second and fourth Thursday of the month for a new episode. And to learn more about the Davie Community Foundation, visit daviefoundation.org.